I have ESPN's Undefeated here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Mark?
Man, I'm in La La right now, man. I ain't got time for Roscoe's today, but, it's a beautiful day in L.A.
It is that. What is the number one story going into this All-Star game, Mark Spears?
LeBron, L.A., Paul George, L.A., the fact that it's in L.A. with these two guys making such a major decision, and, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions to them about possibly playing for the Lakers, and to Clippers fans, sure.
Yeah.
Perhaps the Clippers as well. But I think to me that's the biggest storyline in L.A. Certain being in L.A. makes it even stronger.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit more, Mark, because I heard your comment about the Clippers. We hear that a lot too. Not just living in Los Angeles, but a lot that there's no chance that LeBron will come to the Clippers. Why not? And by that I want to back that up with this theory here. Okay, you go to the Lakers, now you're just doing what Kobe and Magic and Shaq. You just go down the list of everybody. Chamberlain. Just go down the list of what everybody there has done. You do it for the Clippers, and you're the first. You create your own world there, and you're doing it with Jerry West now, as opposed to what Jerry West had built in the past. And maybe you can get, all the max contracts for Doc Rivers, and there's no LeVar Ball saying you got to sign all the Ball brothers. Mark, why not?
Well, I think the Clippers are really like a year away from even having the money where they could get another guy to come with him. So I think the timing is part of it. The Lakers now with their moves have the money to go do it. But man, you know how it is, man. This isn't a diss on the Clippers because I have nothing against them, and I definitely hear what you're saying. But people are in love with that Lakers mystique. People are in love with that jersey, the history, saying Wilt played there, and Magic played there, and Kobe played there. There's just a coolness that comes with saying I play for the Lakers that never really translates the same with the Clippers. And the city of Los Angeles shows that. There's a different vibe at a Lakers game than a Clippers game. Most of the celebrities gravitate towards the Lakers. The city, no matter what the Clippers do, the people are going to pay attention to the Lakers more. So for a guy like LeBron, if he were to come, who is certainly gotten his foot ingrained in the film industry, certainly he could go either way and it'll be okay. But I just think it's that coolness factor that the L.A. Lakers give that nobody else can give.
Well, Mark, we had Maverick Carter here in this seat directly to the right of my desk just a few months ago, where he said that it doesn't matter. LeBron can make movies and star in movies from wherever. And I'm sure Cavs fans are hearing that saying, okay, how about him staying here? So what about LeBron's future might not be Los Angeles-based, best you can tell?
Well, I'll say this. I was there on Sunday in Boston, when the Cavaliers, new-look Cavaliers played for the first time, and they looked fun. They were talented. They were great. They fit LeBron better. I think the Cavs have basically put themselves in a position now where you're going to make it really tough for LeBron to make a decision, because this team is good enough to go to the finals. And then also keep in mind they got their number one pick from a Nets team that's lost a lot. What have they lost, like 7 or 8 in a row? So, I mean, you're talking about possibly having this team with the number one pick in the draft or a top 5 pick. I think it's going to be a really, really hard decision for LeBron to depart from them. And if you're a Cleveland fan or you're their general manager Kobe Altman, who's done a fantastic job, you can't be ashamed of the team that you put together for him to make a decision on. You can't blame the team because they gave him something very good to play with.
Marc Spears from ESPN's Undefeated here on the Rich Eisen Show. Level of concern for Warriors fans not being in first place by the All-Star break with a Rockets team that has won 10 in a row with some dynamic players, all-time great, and James Harden on it would be what?
Now, concern for the West or concern for the seed?
I'd go with the West. With the West.
I I think that they certainly should be concerned. The Rockets are really strong, and they made some good additions with Joe Johnson and Brandon Wright, but I still don't see anybody beating them 4 times. I know they haven't played that great of late. They're ready to be on the beach. They're ready to have a Mai Tai. They're ready to do nothing. They needed to get away from each other. I think they'll be fine. It will certainly be a big boost for Houston to have home court advantage. They certainly get a boost playing at home, but I still like the Warriors making it to the finals, and it's just not going to be easy anymore.
Do you have a problem with what Steve Kerr did, letting the guys on the team run the huddle against a team that he –
You know what, Rich, I go both ways, man, because, like, I'm around Steve enough living in Oakland that I know there's a method to his madness, you know, that he's trying to figure out a way to reengage these guys before the All-Star break comes. The sad thing is, you know, it's like you're putting salt in the team's wound. I mean, the Suns are bleeding. They're bleeding bad. So to do it against them, you know, I'm sure it felt very disrespectful to them. And then they got drilled in the process. So, you know, as Jared Dudley said in his tweet, well, would they do this against the Spurs? Would they do this against another elite team? That's a good question. So I kind of understood what – I don't think Steve meant any disrespect, but I could certainly understand why the Suns didn't like it.
Is there any history? You know, we know he has a history with the Suns. Is there any history in that respect between him and the Suns?
You know what? I hadn't thought about that part. That's a good question. You know, maybe when the season's over, I'll ask him over a glass of wine or something. See if he'll divulge that.
Dig into that, Marc Spears. A couple more minutes left with Marc Spears of ESPN's Undefeated here on the Rich Eisen Show. When does this meeting between the players and the refs and everybody go down this weekend? Walk me through the meeting room and all that stuff, best you can tell.
Well, I'm actually about to meet with Michelle Roberts, and the meeting's over this weekend. I mean, what does it do? I don't know what it does. And the problem is, if you look at the referees, Rich, how long have you been watching the NBA as a professional?
Since I started, I guess, at SportsCenter in '96.
How many of the referees do you recognize?
Now, zero.
There's
now.
the issue that nobody talks about. All these guys are new. When we began our careers, it was Javi. It was the Crawfords. It was Pavetta. It was Jimmy Clark. It was Hugh. Like, we knew all the guys. We knew their personalities. Now everybody's brand new. So it's like, you know, having a league full of rookies, you know, a bunch of guys and a lady that are just trying to cut their teeth and get in experience. You know, it's a young group when, like, Zach Zarber is one of the veteran refs now, you know. And there's just been this great turnover of referees as these guys have gotten older. So I think there's nothing that could really change anything. I guess you could ask the players to be more polite, but there's going to be some growing pains with these new referees that we just going to have to be ready for until they get more experience.
But weren't we going through a period just a couple of years ago, like that? Man, all of these refs. I mean, we're not paying to see them. We're not paying to see Joey Crawford. You know, that's not what we're doing here. You know, didn't we go through all that though? So
well, I mean, Dick Pavetta and Joey had their personalities, and that you know, were certainly unique to the game. I didn't think most of the referees were like that, but those guys had like 15, 20 years of experience. I would gather that most of the referees have less than 5 now. So, like I said, man, we're just going to have to grin and bear it. And also, to the referees' credit, they're in a situation now it's tough because you got the 2-minute reports. You got people replaying things in super slow motion. Like, the game is not played that way. They're under so much more scrutiny than ever before. It's not an easy job, which also has caused some of the referees to leave because a few of them went to the college level. I'd be curious to see how many referees that were reffing 10 years ago are still reffing now.
So who's going to be in the room, best you can tell, for this conversation?
Probably some of the veteran referees and the referee union. leader, Michelle Roberts, some of the players. I probably know a little bit more after I talk to her as far as exactly.
Like Chris Paul? Would Chris Paul be in there? I mean,
he'd have to be there.
Right.
But he's to blame a little bit, right?
Well, they should send Draymond in there, and they should send Durant in there and see if they eject him from the meeting too, right? Tee him up in the meeting.
They should just go to All-Star practice and meet with all those guys afterwards, because those are the main guys that are causing the stir.
I know we're joking about it, but why not, right? I mean, that's the point.
No, I'm serious. Those are the main guys. The other guys ain't making enough to say anything.
But you're basically saying it doesn't matter anyway. They just the refs have to just keep on keeping on, and the players have to just get to know each other. You know, I mean, from what you're telling me.
No, I mean, I just think that the growing pains until they get more experience is going to continue, and there's also an emotion to the game, and we're to blame too. Social media, we could magnify things and make them bigger than they seem too, but I think the best conversation is probably with the stars and not just with a roundabout group of folk.
Speaking of social media, at Marc with a C, J Spears ESPN is how you can follow Marc Spears. Thanks for the time. Enjoy your time here, and maybe I'll see you over the weekend at Staples. That'd be great.
Yes. See you soon, brother.
You got it. It's Marc Spears.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.